Guys, so we have an urgent breaking news coming out. The Russian nuclear armed forces are on high alert. It says here we can't guarantee the existence of Kiev and its population in the event of a strike against Moscow. So they're responding to this here. Zelensky earlier said this: Ukraine can't guarantee the safety of world leaders in Moscow on May the 9th. All right, so again, they're responding to this message. So we're going to get to all this. This is an update. I did post a video earlier today. The former leader of Russia, Dmitry, said this: Kiev might not see May 10th. So what's that supposed to mean? Boom. If you see this mushroom cloud on May 9th or the 10th, just know it's because Zelensky did something bad. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the PayPal link and the Patreon link in the comments box and also the description box. Thank you so much for your support. All right, so this is a full update. All right, this again, we talked about this earlier, but we have a lot more information. Kiev might not see May 10th. The warning from Russia follows Zelensky warning about safety of victory parade guests. All right, so if you hear of a mushroom cloud starting May 9th or the 10th, it's because Zelensky, the man that supposedly inspired the entire world, well, he did something very, very, very not smart. Guys, I got a live stream coming up later tonight. All right, so you guys might not get the notification, but it's going to be on this channel. I will share it, all right, on my the community tab and all that. But I'm thinking about going live tonight. We're going to talk a lot about this news here, but there's a lot more information I want to share with you. The former leader of the Bear, Dmitry, the deputy chairman of the Russia's Security Council, and the Bear Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Maria, all right, so two very important persons here, have issued warning against Ukraine leader Zelensky after he refused to agree to a 3-day cease plan for Victory Day, a Russian holiday commemorating the victory in 1945. You guys already know that. All right, so it says here, so you have Dmitry and Maria sending a message. So Dmitry was put out by Zelensky's statement that Ukraine cannot guarantee the safety of guests attending the May 9th parade in Moscow, as the Bear is a foreign country and therefore beyond the scope of Kiev's responsibility. If anything happens on that date, you know well that it was Ukrainian that did it. Quote from the former leader of the Bear, Dmitry. He said this: "Who needs his guarantees? It's just a verbal provocation, nothing more. This individual understands that no one guarantees that Kiev will see May 10th in the event of a real provocation on Victory Day." Basically, in other words, you're about to see a mushroom cloud. You're going to see something big. Something that could block the sun. And all of you is going to feel it. Now, another person here, Maria. Meanwhile, Maria claimed that Zelensky has betrayed his own grandfather, a veteran. Ooh. Man, that's brutal right there. Maria said, but today he's hit a new low. He's now warning the physical safety of veterans attending parades and celebration on his sacred day. The phrase that he does not guarantee security on 9 May on the territory of the bear because it is not his area of responsibility. It's, of course, a direct warning. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, again, the bear is sending a warning, a huge warning. So that's why the nuclear forces are on high alert. Now, why would Zelensky open his big mouth and say something like that? Here's the thing, guys. You know how many people are going to the Victory Day parade in Moscow? I mean, you got the Red Dragon leader, China leader. You got Brazil, Venezuela. You got very important people from around the world that's gonna go there. This is a celebration of victory of WWII, and Zelensky had to open his big mouth and said to all foreign leaders, if you go to Moscow, if something happens to you, we are not responsible. Why would you say something like that, dude? Why would you say something like that? Now the bear is keeping you on radar. If something happens to them, you gone. Crane is gone. Crane is gone. It will be obliterated. It will be gone. Unbelievable. Sometimes Zelensky, he just says things that he needs to think before he talks. Background: Zelensky has rejected Kremlin ruler Vladimir's idea of a 3-day cease plan. Wow. What are your thoughts on this one here, guys? Now, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second here, guys. Now, you have the Jerusalem Post. They post something here, too. All right, so this is a very important news here, guys, because we could see something on May 9th or the 10th. Look, I pray that nothing happens on May 9th. I pray that nothing happens on May 10th. Look, here's the thing. If nothing happens on May 9th, you could forget about May 10th. All right? May 9th is the big one. All right? That's the Victory Day parade in Moscow. If something happens on May 9th, May 10, Crane will be gone. The former leader of the bear decries Donald WWII statements, says Kiev might not survive a May 9th. The former leader of the bear also added that if Kiev struck Moscow during a Kremlin proposed cease plan, the Ukrainian capital might not survive Moscow assault. Dmitry, deputy chairman of the Bear Security Council, said on Saturday that Donald's assertion that the U.S. had done more than any other country to win WWII was pretentious nonsense. Here's the thing, guys, is that the Bear has done a lot. They have. And for those of you that, again, the Bear country was invaded too during WWII by the guy with the mustache. The Bear is the one that took him out. Actually, he put a GUN in his mouth and finished off. But again, I do believe that the Bear has done a lot more when it comes to Germany. Now, the Sleeping Giant got involved, and you had Japan, you had all those. I mean, it was WWII. It was a whole different ball game. But I think when it comes to Germany, again, I do believe the Bear has done a lot more. Donald posted on social network Truth Social late on Thursday that nobody was close to us in terms of strength, bravery, or military brilliance in both world wars and that we did more than any other country by far in producing a victorious result in WW2. I mean, when it comes to Japan, that's a different ball game. When it comes to Pearl Harbor, that's a different ball game. Now, the bear in the U.S. got involved when it came to Germany. Dmitry, a former leader of the Bear, who has emerged as one of Moscow's most outspoken anti-Western hawks, okay, since the start of the Bear War in Ukraine, made his own statement at a time when Washington and Moscow are trying to reset their troubled ties while discussing a possible way to end the biblical war. It says here, Donald recently announced that the sleeping giant made the biggest contribution to victory in WW2, and he will introduce a special holiday on May 8th. A holiday is not a bad thing, but his first statement is pretentious nonsense, Dmitry said in a post on the VK social network. Our people sacrificed 27 million of their sons and daughters in the name of destroying accused you know what. Therefore, Victory Day is ours, and it is May 9th. So it was, so it is, so it will always be. Ooh. Now, how many soldiers the Sleeping Giant lost in WW2? How many soldiers? Give me a second here. So it says here, the U.S. during WW2, approximately it says 407,316 Sleeping Giant military personnel passed. Now these deaths were not limited to combat, as many service members also passed from other causes, according to USA facts. All right, so 407,316. Now, the Bear lost 26 million. Which country had the most soldiers pass in WW2? The country with the most military passing during WW2 was the Soviet Union, with estimated ranging from 8.8 to 10.7 million. This figure accounts for a significant portion of the overall casualties during the war. All right, so again, like I said, I do believe the Bear had a more of a history impact on this one here. The Sleeping Giant had their own stuff too. I mean, they had Japan, they had all that. But when it compares to soldiers, the Bear is taking the top one on this one. Now, you guys know how Donald is. Donald is the type of person that, you know, we, the U.S., are the best. We are number one. We are this. We are that. I mean, he's even posting pictures of himself looking dressed as a pope and stuff like that. So he wants to be like known as the number one. All right. So it says here. Give me a second. The Bear Crane could see a temporary cease plan. Now, Dmitry additionally added that nobody could guarantee that the Ukrainian capital of Kiev would survive to see May 10th. If cranes... I truly apologize. Okay, Jerusalem Post. Okay, I truly apologize. Jerusalem Post just added an advertisement here. Here we go. All right, so once again, you have May 10th. If Crane strike Moscow during WW2 victory celebration on May 9th. Vladimir on Monday declared a 3-day cease plan in May in the biblical war with Crane to mark the 80th anniversary of the victory of the SU. There you go, the Soviet Union. That's the one that, and its allies in WW2. They had more of a bigger impact compared to us. Now, we finished off really quickly when we dropped the Fat Boy. We dropped 2 atomic. It says here the Bear, the Kremlin, said that 72-hour cease plan would run on May 8th and May 9th, when Vladimir will host international leaders, including the Red Dragon leader, for celebration to commemorate victory over Germany in May 10th. Responding to Moscow's offer of the 3-day cease plan, Ukrainian leader Zelensky said he was ready as long as the cease plan will be 30 days in length, something Vladimir had already ruled out in the near term, saying he wants a long-term settlement, not a brief pause. Here's the thing. Zelensky wants a 30-day cease plan, right? Vladimir said no. And the reason why, Vladimir said, you want 30 days so that way you could rearm, you could get more equipment, and you could be, train your pilots on how to use F-16s. You want 30 days so you could build your soldiers, train your soldiers. And so, again, Vladimir's like, I don't want 30 days. I want this war to end. I want a peace plan that you will not strike me and I won't strike you. But it seems like a 30-day cease plan is not going to work. And so this biblical war is going to keep going and just a never-ending trending. Zelensky said Ukraine, given the continued war with the Bear, Russia could not guarantee a safety of any foreign dignitaries who came to Moscow for additional May 9th victory parade. We cannot be responsible for what happens on the territory of the Bear Federation. They're responsible for your security, and therefore, we will not give you any guarantees. Wow. Dmitry called Zelensky's statement a verbal provocation and said nobody had asked for Kiev's security guarantees for the May 9th event. That's very true. No one asked him for that. Zelensky understands that in the event of a real provocation on Victory Day, nobody will be able to guarantee that Kiev will live to see May 10th, Dmitry said on his official Telegram channel. That's why I told you guys, again, Zelensky, he needs to go. He needs to go. He needs to go. Number one, his term is up. He's not supposed to be the leader. He already served his term. His term was up last year, and he's still the leader. But again, Zelensky opened his mouth, and now the Bear nuclear armed forces are on high alert. We can't guarantee the existence of Kiev and its population in the event of a strike against Moscow. So, if you see something like this, May 10th, if you see this in Kiev on May 9th or 10th, just know it's because Zelensky did something cuckoo. Alright, so there's going to be very important people in Moscow May 9th. Hopefully nothing happens to them. But if something happens, it ain't because of Vladimir. And remember, guys, there's always parade going on every year, May 9th. They always have their victory parade. And foreign leaders go there every year. They go there every year. Nothing happens to them. But if something happens to them this year, it ain't because of Vladimir. It ain't because of the Bear. It's because you had Zelensky, the one that opened his mouth and said that, if something happens to you, it's not our fault. Yeah, okay. So again, you just basically put yourself in a tough spot now. All right. So again, this is where we at right now, guys. Once again, nuclear forces are on high alert. The bear is not messing around. They are really furious with the Zelensky. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us a letter, it's a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.